You went into the hospital for what you believed was a simple procedure. You came out with significant injuries and you believe something was done wrong by the doctors or hospitals. But you don't have enough facts to really understand what was done wrong. How can you prove a case if you don't have all the facts at your disposal? Would you like to learn the answer? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Jerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial attorney practicing law in the state of New York. Today I'm coming to you from beautiful St. Martin. I have a few minutes to share with you a couple of ideas and thoughts. And I wanted to share with you this information about how you actually prove a case if you don't have all the details, don't have all the facts when the events occur. So here's what happens. Most people who suffer an injury as a result of a doctor violating the basic standards of care or a hospital staff violating rules and regulations and procedures and causing you harm, those patients, those injured victims typically do not have all the details in front of them. Typically what will happen is they'll have lots of questions. How did this happen? How could this have happened? They may have tidbits of information from the doctor or hospital staff about what happened and what may have gone wrong. And now they have even more questions. So one of the best ways that you can answer the questions about how you actually prove this case is by going to an experienced trial attorney who then begins a thorough investigation. As part of that thorough investigation, one of the key things is that we have to gather all of the medical records involved. So what happens once we get all of those medical records? After we get all those medical records, I then have to go through every single page, and that could be thousands and thousands of pages depending upon how long you were in the hospital following your procedure. Once that occurs, I'll have a much better understanding of what actually occurred. Then I have to send those records out to a qualified medical expert in order to further evaluate them and to see whether or not there were violations of the standards of basic medical care. And then our expert is going to talk to me. He's going to give me information, give me his ideas, his thoughts, his conclusions about whether or not there were violations from the standard of care. And if so, did that result in your suffering your injuries? If they were, I can now come back to you and tell you what our expert has said. And then you'll have a better understanding of exactly what occurred and why. So why do I share this great information with you? I share it with you just to give you an insight and an understanding into what goes on with evaluating a medical malpractice case in the state of New York. You know, I recognize you probably have questions of your own about your own particular matter, and if your matter happened here in New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. This is what I do every single day. I welcome your call. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at jerry@oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Jerry Oginski. Have a remarkable day.